In the past 3 years of running my wholesale real estate business, I have failed more times than I can count. I've spent tens of thousands on marketing that didn't work. I've chased leads that went nowhere. And I've tried every strategy the gurus talk about. But we've also done over $15 million in real estate deals, and we're making about 100 to 120K a month. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what works to find motivated sellers. Not theory, real strategies that we use every single day. But more importantly, I'm going to show you what doesn't work, so you don't waste the time and money like I did. Let's get into it. Okay, so first let's talk about what a motivated seller actually is. A motivated seller isn't just someone who wants to sell, it's someone who needs to sell. They have a problem that selling will solve. Maybe they're behind on mortgage payments, facing foreclosure, maybe they inherited a property they don't want, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe the property needs too many repairs and they can't afford to fix it, or maybe they're relocating for work and they just need to move fast. The key word here is need. These are people with a problem and they need your help to solve it. Here's the thing though, motivated sellers are everywhere. The question isn't do they exist, it's how do I find them before my competition does? That is what this video is all about. Before I show you what works, let me save you some time and money by telling you what doesn't work. Or at least what didn't work for me. The first one, bandit signs. You know those ugly "we buy houses" signs on the side of the road? I can't even tell you how much I spent on those my first year. But you wanna know how many deals I got? 0. Maybe they work in some markets, but where I'm located, they're not even allowed. Complete waste of money. The next is generic direct mail. Sent out about 7,000 different cards, and that cost me about $6,000. I literally got like 2 calls. I sent out like 7,000 mailers and spent like $5,000 or $6,000, and guess how many deals I got? 0. Guess how many calls I got? 2. And one of them said, never mail my house again. Why did this not work? Because everyone's doing it. Motivated sellers are getting like 5, 10, 15 of these letters every single week. They're numb to it. Unless you can afford to hyper target and follow up 3 times a month, it's just not worth it. You're throwing away money. The next one, which I hate, is cold calling random lists. This one is tricky because cold calling does work, but you have to have volume. I used to dial 300 people a day and maybe only 1 to 2 people would actually be willing to sell their property. And out of those 1 to 2 people, they wanted like $1 million for a $100,000 property. That being said though, we did start a call center in Egypt where we were making $600,000 a month to those same lists, and we were able to get 2 to 3 deals out of it. So cold calling works, you just have to have a ton of volume and it's not good for a beginner. Okay, so now that you know what not to do, let me show you what actually works. But make sure you stay till the end because I'm gonna show you the marketing strategy that 20x'd my investment. But to piggyback off the wrong way to cold call, I'm gonna show you the real way to cold. This is actually how I got the majority of my leads for a long time. Here's how it works. Step 1 is pull a hyper-targeted list. I like to use kindskiptracing.com to pull the exact list I'm looking for, but not random homeowners, motivated homeowners. I'm looking for pre-foreclosures, tax delinquent properties, absentee owners, people who don't live there but still own the house, inherited properties, high equity properties in distressed situations, and properties with code violations. These are people who have a higher likelihood of being motivated. Step 2, you're gonna skip trace the list. If you use Kind Skip Tracing, it will automatically come with phone numbers. And don't tell anyone, but you can get it for 3 cents a skip, which is 70% lower than the competitors. And you're gonna get a phone number and email for all of them. Step number 3 is hiring a VA to call them. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because you need a good VA. You could hire a company like AK Callers, but what I like to do is go to remotelatinos.com. And if you pair a VA with the dialer, they should be able to make 3,000 to 5,000 calls every single day. And I tell them a super simple script. We'll use Hido for example. Hi, my name is Hido. I work with local real estate investors, and we were just curious if you'd ever consider an offer on that 123 Main Street property. That's it. No fancy pitch, just a little bit of curiosity. Most people say no, but that's fine because some actually say, yeah, I've been thinking about it. And that's when you dig deeper. I have my cold callers get the 4 pillars and then send them over to me to handle the rest. The 4 pillars are price, motivation, timeline, condition, and how much were you looking to get for that property? Okay. And if we can get you that price, what's the reason you're looking to sell in the first place? Okay. And I know you're looking for X price. Can you tell me a little bit more about the condition? And okay, if we can get you that price, okay, and if we can find the solution that makes sense for you, how soon are you looking to sell? Now they know the answer to every question. And then when they send them to you, it is your job to dive deeper into the motivation, start listening to them, and then offering them a solution. You just have to try and understand their problem. This strategy does work well because it's always human to human interaction. The cost is about $1,200 a month for a VA and the lists, but the return, we've closed 20, 30, even 40K deals from it. That's the exact method. Strategy number 2 is called driving for dollars. This one is old school, but it does still work, especially if you're just starting out and have no money for marketing. Here's the concept. You drive through neighborhoods in your target areas and you look for distressed properties. Properties with overgrown grass, boarded up windows, visible damage, peeling paint, or signs that the owner just doesn't take care of it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna write down the address, go home, go to truepeoplesearch.com, find the owner and their phone number. Now it's time to call them. Why does this work though? Because you've seen the properties distressed in person and those properties are screaming, I have a problem. Maybe the owner lives out of state. Maybe the owner inherited it and just can't take care of it. Maybe they're just overwhelmed in general and they don't know where to start. When you call, your approach is really simple. You wanna start it off like this. Hi, my name is JT. I'm sitting here with a copy of your local tax records. I drove past the property on 123 Main Street the other day. Would you ever consider selling that property? Again, not being pushy, being genuinely curious and seeing if they have a problem you can solve. I personally don't do this anymore because I have a team and we have to focus on higher volume strategies. But when I was starting out with no money, this got me my first few deals. The cost? Free. Just time and money. The return? I've closed like 60K in deals using this. Strategy number 3 is networking and referrals. This is the most underrated strategy in wholesaling because everyone's focused on leads instead of relationships. Here's what I did. I went to every real estate meetup, every investor group, every networking event in my city. I introduced myself, told people what I did, walked in with confidence, and I built relationships. And then I started getting referrals. Other investors would send me deals that didn't fit their criteria. Real estate agents would send me their sellers who really needed fast cash. Property managers would refer me to owners who had bad tenants. Or wholesalers would call me because they couldn't find a cash buyer. I built relationships with probate attorneys, divorce attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys, and anybody I could really think of. Because people like that work with motivated sellers all day long. I'd try and take them out for coffee or lunch. I would ask about their family, their friends. I would ask about them genuinely, and I would care about those people. And at the end, I just said, if there's anyone that you think I could help or could help me, would you please connect me? Then I followed up with them, asked about their kids, asked about their wives, asked about their family, because that's who I am. I genuinely care. Now, 3 years later, I get about 1 to 3 deals a month that have come from the relationships I built all those years ago. But the key here is you genuinely have to add value and care about the person. Don't just take, you also want to give. Refer clients to them, send them gifts. Be a genuine friend, because when you really help people out, you're building real relationships. Cost? Time, and maybe some coffee. The return? One of our biggest deals was $40,000 just from referrals. Strategy 4 is FSBO, or for sale by owner. This one is a true hidden gem. Every city has people who are trying to sell their house by themselves. I looked at Zillow, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace every single day. And as soon as somebody posts a property without a realtor, I'd call to ask, how can I genuinely help you? And if they're like, well, what do you mean? I'd say, well, I am a cash investor. If you would be looking for a cash close, super quick, easy transaction, maybe I could see what I can get you approved for. Sometimes they'd message me back, sometimes they wouldn't. But I did 15 contracts a month from this one strategy, and it cost me nothing. The key again is to follow up and genuinely care about the person you're talking to. Don't just say, hey, we buy houses cash. Just be helpful, answer questions, provide value, and when the opportunity comes up, make them an offer. The cost, literally zero. The return, I've done over $100,000 in revenue from this one lead source. Now, strategy number 5, which is my personal favorite, which is paid ads. This one is more advanced and requires a budget, but it allows you to scale very well. We use Facebook, Google, and Instagram to target motivated sellers in hyper-local areas. For Facebook, it's all about creativity, but our ad creatives play on emotions. For Google, we bid keywords like sell my house fast, or cash offer now, or fast cash offer, or we buy houses in city name. For example, we buy houses Knoxville. When someone clicks our ad, they go direct to a landing page with a simple form. They fill out their property info and their contact info. It goes straight to our CRM and our team calls them immediately. This strategy works super well because everyone is already asking you to buy their home. They're raising their hand and saying, I need help. The downside though, is it's expensive. I've spent up to $20,000 a month on ads. But the upside is it's very scalable. And the good news is you can turn your budget up or down based on how many deals you want to do a month. So the average cost, $3,000 to $5,000. The return, I've done $120,000 a month from this. All right, so I just gave you the 5 strategies that work. But here's the real secret that no one talks about. It's not really about what strategy you use, but the consistency and the follow-up. Most people try one strategy for 2 weeks, don't get a deal, then quit. They move on to the next shiny object. The truth is, every strategy I just shared works, but only if you commit and execute consistently. And the part that separates the amateurs from the pros, the follow-up. For beginners, most deals never close on the first call. They close on the 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th follow-up. Because most sellers aren't ready to sell today, but they are ready in 30, 60, or 90 days. We have a CRM that tracks every single lead and every single conversation. We set reminders to follow up, we stay in touch, and we build relationships over time. That's the real secret. It's not sexy, it's not complicated, but it works. If you're using any of those strategies, drop a comment below on which one's working for you. I'm curious to see what's happening in your market. So look, I just gave you 5 strategies that work. You could take any one of these, commit for 90 days, and close your first deal. But here's the reality. Finding motivated sellers is just step 1. You also need to know how to talk to them, how to run comps, how to negotiate contracts, how to find buyers, and how to actually close the deal. That's why instead of just teaching people, I actually bring them in to do deals with us. We provide exclusive leads from ad campaigns. We handle the funding. We even give you a cash buyer. And you get to walk through the entire process from contract to close. You plug in, follow the exact system that already works, and learn while you earn. If you're serious about doing this, apply down below and my team will reach out to you soon. The link's in the description. But we can only bring on a few people this quarter. So if you're ready to stop learning and start earning, go ahead and apply now. Appreciate you watching. Let's get it.